setup and cleanup, letting me focus on my presentation instead of the details. It made our event run so much smoother, and I'll never go back to the old way. Meetings with impact begin at bigwoodeventcenter.com.
Check out FergusFallsDeals.com for food and drink in the area. We cover it all, and you can save money with places like BFW Post 612 in Fergus Falls, Garden Bar on 6th in Alexandria, Terrace Lanes in Wapaton, Old Town in Clitheroe, Perkins in Fergus Falls, Parallel 46 in Pelican Rapids, and Melby Outpost.
Got a lot of people shopping online and on the go
at FergusFallsDeals.com.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
I'm happy that the cameras aren't on until I click on.
I know there was a little bit of panic going on in there.
Well, no, I thought I had everything set up, and then I forgot to move the camera controls and then the computer controls.
And I never know when you've got us on or not. So I just do it like I always did. And
I
if
always
I'm on camera, I am, and if I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm always the first one on because normally I do the big good morning.
Okay.
But we missed the snowpocalypse kind of morning.
Well, do we dare say that yet?
I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'll jinx everybody.
I was kind of like, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't really dare say it out loud because I woke up so many times during the night, and the first thing I would do is look outside, and I still saw black streets, and I still saw the driveway being free and clear of snow. Now there's just a teeny little dusting on there now, but so far, melt.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it on the grass,
Yeah.
but the roads are a little slushy. Could be some slippery spots.
I was listening to a meteorologist, and I've interviewed so many meteorologists throughout my years and part of the Weather Spotter program and such, that I understand what they're saying. But if the meteorologist I was listening to last night, he was saying, you may be getting that 6, 7, 8 inches, but since it's so wet and heavy, it's just compressing into 2 or 3 inches. And I'm like, I realize that technically that's correct, but
But do we see 6 inches on the
No,
ground?
we don't.
Okay. I've never heard that.
I've heard it a couple times, and
Okay.
technically you're supposed to actually put everything in a bucket and melt it down to get the precipitation equivalent and go from there. But
Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, so far, I mean, I think overnight we had anticipated more. And schools called off school today.
yeah, a lot of them called
of
off
them.
yesterday. I mean, schools were
But
closing.
you know what? When you've got
Yeah.
a winter storm warning
Yeah.
and you're looking for high winds and multiple inches of snow, I feel so sorry for them having to make that call because it's hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to look at it this way. Everybody's talking about it's got the high winds. Yeah, but it's the sticky snow, so it's not going to blow. That's the issue you
True.
have. I mean, you might get a quarter of an inch, but if you got 30-mile winds, you got issues. But if the sticky stuff, when it hits the ground, it stays.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we had schools. I was putting in closing announcements at 2:00 yesterday afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, when they change it over to a warning, I think that's when administrations say, "Is it worth it?" And there are still some schools that it's easy for them to just say, "We're going to do online learning."
Yep.
I don't think Fergus does that
Nope.
anymore. If they're off school, they're off school.
They're off school.
So is Fergus closed today?
Fergus is closed.
Okay.
But
all
they
right.
at least made the decision at 6:00 this morning.
Right. I did get a text, I know, from Hillcrest that said that they were closed this morning, but they do, I think, what the
Usually,
public
yeah,
school does
Fergus is.
usually. Yeah. So anyway, I although looking ahead at the hourly forecast, there's still, I mean, there are chances of
Oh,
snow
we're still going to
showers.
get some more snow.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
I'm not saying
not
we're
gonna be
done.
not going to be like that blowing blizzardy kind. Because in the hourly last night, and I can't remember what time it was, but I did see the word. It changed to blizzard a couple, for a couple of the hours, and now that's gone.
Yeah.
But we are still under a warning, correct?
Yeah. until 7 o'clock.
Okay.
At least last time I looked, it was still 7 o'clock.
That's the last I saw too. So, but anyway, hey, we'll take it. I
Yep.
mean, if this is all we get, hallelujah.
And always a friendly reminder for the latest weather closings, cancellations, and delays. Go to KBRFradio.com under the weather tab, click closings and delays, or pop open the Fergus Now app and click
Either
on
one.
it there.
Yep. Great ways to see what's going on.
Reported a
In
couple
fact-
churches tonight.
Oh, for tonight. Well, I think a lot of times when, when school is canceled, then a lot of times churches don't have their Wednesday night activities either. And so, I think everybody just thought we've gotten skirted. We've gotten lucky the last two storms that they've kind of told us we were going to get, and it looks like most of that, those storms, Minneapolis really got hit quite a few times this year. It feels like.
One of the funny thing, they're going to hit again, and tomorrow is the home opener of the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, that's right. Will they be able to play?
We'll see.
I guess.
But if they do play, you will find it right here on News Talk 1250 KBRF.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Shameless
if
plugs.
nothing else, close your eyes, listen to the organ at the Twins game playing,
Dun,
and
dun, dun, dun,
yep,
dun,
yep,
dun,
and
dun,
it'll make
dun.
you feel like it's spring and summer, and here's the good news. Later in the week and next week too will look pretty nice in terms of temperatures. So anything that stays on the ground today is easily going to be gone.
Oh, yeah.
Probably by the end of the week. So, right now, you said it. I don't hardly. I was gonna say
I'm
I'm
not gonna
take the snowblower out, but maybe I need to knock on wood.
Right
just
now, I
never
don't think I'd put
know.
the snowblower out.
No.
Well, I might instead of shoveling because it's
Because
heavy.
it's heavy, yeah. But it comes out like mashed potatoes when it's
Yeah,
heavy
it's
and wet like this.
toothpaste.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
I know it. Well, speaking of bad, how would you like to be this guy? And really, I mean, I know what it does. It accomplishes maybe a goal. But was anybody really listening to Senator Cory Booker as he delivered a record-breaking filibuster on the Senate floor, speaking for over 24 hours?
Yeah, 25
Okay,
something.
so who is sitting there listening to him?
Nobody, but he's jamming up Congress.
Right.
That's the whole thing. He
But
said it
so
wasn't a
is that the
filibuster,
rule? I
but that's a filibuster.
Oh, it sure is. Yes. So do you have to just keep continuously talking if you stop for?
He wants headlines.
Well, he got headlines, and I mean, I don't know. Does it? It jams up Congress.
Yep.
But other than that, I don't know really what it does. But he was holding a copy of the Constitution. I'm sure you've seen it. Booker called for checks and balances on the president. Oh my goodness.
But when they tried to do checks and balances on the president they were like, "Oh, it's constitutional."
I know it. It's everything. The tables have completely turned.
Yeah.
If President Biden had still been president,
The Republicans would
nobody
be up there.
yeah, they would be doing that, and they would be calling for checks and balances. So
It's who's ever in power. The other
Yes.
people will say.
Yes.
So, like you said, if Biden was in doing what Biden
Right.
does, Republicans would be doing the same thing.
right. So the Republicans survived a couple of special elections in Florida as you and I talked about it yesterday, and you were like, well, those are shoo-ins. I don't know if they felt that confident about those two because they were two new faces.
Yeah,
But they did.
they got the R.
They got the R in Florida, so that is good in terms of the balance of power in the House.
Like a Democrat in the cities, you've got the D.
Right.
You're gonna get the vote.
Right, exactly. And Wisconsin didn't do as well. The Democrat won there.
Yep.
Even despite Elon Musk with the cheese wedge on his head dancing around on stage.
That's not gonna do much.
How about the $1 million checks? Gave out a couple of those. It cost him millions of dollars to try to persuade people, to get out and vote. And that is the biggest problem
Nobody
for
wants
these
to vote.
special elections. People just don't get out for them. I would have guessed after the last election, the presidential election, nobody would ever sit on their hands again.
No, but they will. They're lazy.
I guess.
Americans are lazy.
I guess so. Well, anyway, Attorney General Pam Bondi I don't know if you saw this over the last couple of days, ordered the DOJ to seek the death penalty
I
for,
like
for
this.
Luigi Mangione.
Yep.
Now, he's the guy who killed the United Healthcare CEO in cold blood on the sidewalk,
Yep.
waited for him, shot him in the back.
Traveled to New York just to
Traveled
do
to
this.
New York, right. Okay. So it clearly was tracking the guy, knew he was going to be
Yep.
there for meetings, knew where the meetings were
Yep.
and where he was staying, what his route would be.
Wrote notes on the bullet casings.
Yes. I mean, this guy is, so he pleads not guilty, of course. Anyway, charged with premeditated killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione, who has pleaded not guilty to the crime and become a controversial folk hero to his many supporters, which
It's crazy.
it is crazy, has a preliminary hearing scheduled for April 18th. Now, people who are in support of Mangione are calling the potential death penalty on the table. They're calling it barbaric. Now, I would like to say, was it not barbaric for him to
Oh, yeah.
plan this murder and walk up behind this father and husband and shoot him in the back and kill him?
Yep.
Is that not barbaric? So a death penalty or not, he needs to serve a whole bunch of time. I don't know how in the world he would ever get off on this deal.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the gun. They found him with the gun and with the clothes
I mean, it just
and the
how is
fake ID
right. And how is that? How can you even say not
and a
guilty?
manifesto
Oh my
about how
goodness.
happy he is that he shot him.
Okay, and then the interesting thing is all these people who support him. Really, you're supporting someone murdering
Yeah.
someone's husband and father,
Yep.
and just we don't know the guy, even if he's a jerk. Um, yeah, so he worked for United Health, and people are mad about their health care and their health insurance. Yeah, but do we go out and kill people?
Nope.
Unbelievable. So anyway, that's going on. Florida is facing the smallest orange crop in nearly a century due to hurricanes, citrus disease, and changing consumer preferences. So look for your oranges to maybe cost a little more.
When I was in Florida a couple months ago, my dad asked me to do one thing, and that is to bring back some Florida navel oranges.
Oh, okay.
And we couldn't find it.
Oh, really?
The ones that we could find came from California.
Oh my goodness, isn't that funny?
And so we had to go with the key lime pie, and I think I've told that key lime pie transit story many, many times.
You had to go
really
with
funny
key
going
lime
through
pie
really funny going through TSA
with key lime
with
pie
a key lime pie in my bag.
in your bag.
In my bag.
Did they say, hey, what is that?
Well,
Or did
I
they
gave him the
look,
heads
or-
up. For those who don't remember the story,
I don't know if I've heard it.
maybe I haven't told it on the air.
I don't think I've heard it.
All right, so we were talking, and I'm like, okay, there was a key lime pie place not too far from our hotel, and we went there, and it's like, okay, I don't know if we're gonna get a key lime pie back for Dad. So we tried the key lime pie, and it's like, oh man, this stuff was so good, we got to at least give it an attempt. So we get a frozen one, and I put it in. You get a personal item. My personal item's my backpack. And so we're going through TSA in Orlando, and I put it on the tray to go through, and I'm like, hey, just heads up, there's a pie in there. He goes, really? What kind? Key lime. He goes, okay. Pass it down. Tells the X-ray operator, there's a pie in there. Really? What kind? Key lime, I guess.
Isn't that
And
funny?
the X-ray guy goes, nice.
Nice.
And it went on, no problem.
No problem.
I mean, it had the aluminum, the aluminum pie tin and
Yeah,
everything. So I'm just
yeah.
like, hey, this is gonna ping. I'm just
Just
giving
telling
you
you.
the heads up right
Yeah.
now. This is what it is.
Okay.
And he goes, it's just so funny though, because the next guy, what kind? Key lime, I guess.
Isn't it funny?
Nice.
They both asked what kind. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So I mean, it went through. I had no issues. It stayed frozen from Orlando to Fergus, and gave it to my dad. I mean, it was a little the crust was a little crumpled because
Yeah.
of going from Orlando to Charlotte to
Yeah,
Minneapolis
no
to
kidding.
Fergus
In a backpack.
in a backpack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the mark of a good pie.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this is interesting. The U.S. Health and Human Services Department, they themselves, not President Trump, but the department itself, they initiated layoffs affecting up to 10,000 employees.
Wow.
Now, we are seeing this kind of across the board. We're seeing some of these government agencies before President Trump gets to them or before he takes.
We want to fire the worthless guys
Well,
before.
I kind
We
of
know
feels,
who's not doing their
it
work.
kind of feels like they know where the fat is, and they want to look like they're doing their part. I don't know what the thought is behind that. But anyway, the restructuring led to key experts being dismissed, impacting medical research, drug approvals, and health decisions. And anyway, the Health Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., aims to consolidate some of those agencies. But it's like some of these government entities are kind of running scared because they
Yeah.
know they're going to get looked at, and they know there's a lot of fat, you know.
They're like, but he's an expert. What has he done? Well, he was on CBS, NBC. Did he do any research? Nobody was on CBS, NBC,
Right, exactly.
CNN.
And Hooters, the U.S. restaurant chain known for its chicken wings and Hooter Girls, has filed for bankruptcy. When we come back, we're going to talk about the guy that ran on the treadmill for 24 hours.
Oh.
Crazy person. Talk about that and more when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Enroll in Farm Bureau Financial Services Driveology, and you'll instantly save 10% on your auto insurance premium. Over time, your safe driving habits could earn you even bigger savings, up to 50%. Learn more and start saving with Driveology at fbfs.com/save. 10% savings applied at enrollment for select coverages. Future savings based on individual driving behaviors and varies by coverages selected. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
This is Ryan Welly with the Fergus Falls Monument Company. When you're thinking about a memorial for your loved one, I invite you to stop in and see our large selection of memorials on display. The memorial you choose is crafted for you right here locally with an everlasting warranty. That means it's perfect, now and forever, guaranteed. Call or stop into Fergus Falls Monument or visit us online at foreverstonememorials.com. Memorials that matter.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Hey, Twins fans, it's Chris Atterbury. The Twins are in Chicago with a chance to win a series and come home for the home opener at Target Field on a high note. Pablo Lopez takes the ball opposite Sean Burke. It's the Twins and the White Sox series finale and the rubber match of this three-game set. 12:30 lineup card, 1:10 first pitch, right here on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
You want to feel important. You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that you can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I'm Sergeant Michael Tislin from Chaska, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers, we are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Get a paint that combines gorgeous color and durability. Dutch Boy's Platinum Plus is a paint and primer with a protective finish that guards against scuffs, spills, and stains. Refresh your home today with Dutch Boy paint. Get a gallon on sale now through April 6th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Modern marketing with a local touch. That's Leighton Media. We influence audiences across the state using traditional media and a complete portfolio of marketing services designed to grow your business. From event and video production to complete radio branding campaigns, our team is dedicated to helping you share your message and get the results your business expects. Ready to make an impact? Connect with Leighton Media today. Our team is ready to work for you. Leighton Media, your success starts here.
With its increased efficiency and lower fuel costs, ag producers know that propane is better for their bottom line. And now, participating in the Propane Farm Research Program can impact your bottom line. Share your propane equipment performance data and you can receive compensation, like up to $5,000 towards towable generators and generators for backup power, and up to $2,000 for propane building heat systems. To take advantage of all the ways propane is better for your bottom line, Start your application today at propane.com/PFRP.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets mostly lower, slightly lower. Down a couple pennies in the wheat, 2 to 3 in the corn, 5-7 in the soybeans. Comstock Investments analyst Joe Camp. So the grain trade pretty tentative here ahead of this afternoon's tariff announcements.
So it's the anticipation of what's ahead and still sorting through various points of input on the tariff announcements to come, knowing that they are going to be these reciprocal tariffs to target any country that's got import charges on U.S. goods. They could include targets like European Union, India's been brought up, South Korea, you've got Brazil being mentioned. These on top of the usual suspects, which would include Canada and Mexico, and new tariffs going into effect against them, as well as the possibility of additional tariffs on China.
And Camp says the cattle market continues to not give up.
Even after a lower start, we've had this several times, definitely last week, where we'd go lower early on only to rally by the close. This one's traded both sides of unchanged already today, down and then up, then back just a touch lower on many of these contracts, and wondering if we're going to have any type of input to shake things up like we did here recently with the cash trade, and it usually does provide more clarification as Wednesday rolls forward, and that shouldn't be any different this week. We'll see if the board still carries a discount to the cash trade as strong as it's been.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
Time for the Minnesota Beef Update with Minnesota Beef CEO Kelly Schmidt. Today, more about last week's Minnesota Association of Meat Processors Convention.
We were able to participate as a council with that Minnesota Association of Meat Processors Convention. And we talked a little bit about what we were planning to do, but it ended up being just an excellent event. We sponsored the Innovative Beef Competition, and there were some awesome entries in that. There's the winner of that, the highlighted winner of that Innovative Beef was a really, really tasty Philly cheesesteak bratwurst that was entered by Schmidt's Meat Market in Nicollet. So that won that particular award. But there was great entries across the board. And then we always like to give a Beef Backer Award, and that's an award to a retail meat shop or a meat market in the state that does particularly good things in promoting beef and reaching consumers and their beef offering. And this year's winner was Morgan's Meat Market in Waseca.
The Beef Update brought to you by the Minnesota Beef Council and Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association.
Imagine this. You gather a stadium full of farmers, step up to the podium, and tell them about your business. What would that be worth to you and your company? This is Don Wick from the Red River Farm Network. We fill that stadium every day with some of the most progressive-minded, forward-thinking farmers and ranchers around the world. Find out how the Red River Farm Network can carry your message to farmers and ranchers. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
Dedicated, dependable, and delivering the information you need. It's Don Wick.
The response from ag groups has been lukewarm at best.
Randy Conan.
The popularity of biofuels has helped create more demand for crops.
Jamie Dickerman.
Nitrogen prices continue to tick higher.
And Tyler Donaldson.
A weather system is set to move into the region beginning tomorrow.
Whether it's happening in the farm field or the halls of Congress, we deliver the information that impacts you and your business. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
May wheat Minneapolis is down 3 1/4 cents, 5.90 3/4. Chicago May wheat down 3 3/4 at 5.36 1/4. Kansas City May wheat is unchanged, 5.65 1/4. May corn down 5, 4.56 3/4. December down 2 3/4 at 4.46 3/4. May soybeans down 7 3/4 at 10.26 1/2. November down 5 cents at 10.34 1/4. In Winnipeg, May canola 50 cents a metric ton higher, 627.60 Canadian. April live cattle 45 cents higher, 209.57. June's up 65. April feeder cattle down 32 cents at 287.95. May down 50 cents. April lean hogs are unchanged, 87.37. May down 62 cents. This is the Red River Farm Network.
It's grilling season. Time to go through the checklist to make sure you're set. Let's see. Grill gates clean. Lighter ignition works. Propane tank is full. Maybe. When it comes to grilling, there are no maybes. Time to refill or exchange your propane tank from Olson Oil Express. You can either exchange your tank or have their staff refill your tank for you. And now that you know your grill tank is ready for cooking, have you checked your camper tanks? I didn't think so. Olson Oil Card Express, West Lincoln, Fergus Falls.
I'll never forget the time our annual meeting nearly fell apart because our venue was too small. We were practically elbow to elbow, and it was impossible to stay focused. Then I found the Bigwood Event Center, and it was a game changer. Their space had just the right feel, roomy and flexible, whether we needed a smaller setting or a larger space, or both. They even set up an outdoor area for our team. They thought of everything. It made all the difference. Meetings with impact begin at bigwoodeventcenter.com.
Check out FergusFallsDeals.com for food and drink in the area. FergusFallsDeals.com has it all, and you can save money with places like Backroads in Evansville, Lake Cabin Meat and Deli, Hillbillies Depot in Earhart, Shoreline in Battle Lake, Papa Murphy's in Fergus Falls, and Fresh and Fancy at Mama Sheena's.
Got a lot of people shopping online and on the go.
At FergusFallsDeals.com.
For over 40 years, two-time Grammy winner Terrence Simeon has brought his infectious Zydeco beats to life. Experience the rhythm, energy, and the soul of Louisiana Creole music live at a Center for the Arts, Friday, April 11th at 7:30. Get your tickets now.
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
Don't wait until your garage door sounds like this. Easy Open Garage Doors here to help. Whether you're in need of repair or a new opener, or maybe it's just time to replace the whole door. Make it easy and give Easy Open Garage Door a call, 770-DOOR.
Is your teen or young adult withdrawing, experiencing anxiety, or depressive thoughts? They may need a larger team to care for them. That's where Hazelden Betty Ford comes in. Our team of experts help guide with proven mental health and substance use support. You can trust Minnesota's #1 teen treatment center to help your child thrive. Turn to wegotyou.org to learn more. Hazelden Betty Ford. We Got You. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation and aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. We're going to go through your weather forecast as we go through today. Going to be seeing a winter storm warning in effect till 7 o'clock tonight. Heavy snow at times still. They're still saying 4 to 8 inches, Mary. So we'll have to see how that shapes up. More snow continuing tonight. 35 for our high. 38 tomorrow's high. 40 Friday. 39 is Saturday. Sunday up around 39. Then Monday 38 and then 49 on Tuesday. So a little bit warmer as we get into the weekend. Cool it off and then warm it up as we get into next week. Right now 32. A little bit of light rain, fog, mist, freezing snow, freezing rain. It's all mixing in. It's a happy good time over out in the forecast.
It is a mixed bag. A little bit of everything out there. I know this morning when I walked across the parking lot at the Y, it was like misting, but it kind of hurt, so there's some ice there, and there was some ice kind of build up, crunchy stuff on the pavement, and everybody was doing their penguin shuffle again.
Yeah, I always call it the Minnesota Shuffle.
Minnesota Shuffle, because I'm so scared of falling on that kind of stuff.
You don't want
Yeah.
to. Hey, real quick, I do need to go through the weather cancellations.
Okay.
I'm skipping the schools. I'm just going to hit the churches that have already canceled tonight. Weather cancellations, closings, and delays on News Talk 1250 KBRF are brought to you by Oxford Plumbing and Heating and Northwest Tire and Buyer Towing. Again, you can find these all on KBRFradio.com or the Fergus Now app. Augustana in Elizabeth and Austin Rock Prairie churches, no Lenten service tonight. Calvary Free Lutheran Church, all activities canceled. The Viking Library System Bookmobile is canceled for today. Augustana and Fergus Falls is canceled. And Life Church is canceled today. All activities canceled. So again,
Okay.
Morning Talk brought to you by our good friends at Pioneer Care and at Fergus Falls Monument Company.
All right. Well, I've got some funny stuff for you a little bit later in the show. It's things that kids. It's advice from kids,
Oh no.
and many of them are 7, 9, 11. So there's some really funny ages, and there's some things that made me laugh out loud. So thought we'd share some of that
Yeah,
today.
sounds fun.
Yeah. And okay, so I was going to tell you about the guy who was running on a treadmill for 24 hours. I can't do 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's from the UK. His name is Joe Pritchard, and he ran on a treadmill for 24 hours without stopping. He's 23 years old. That could be part of it. He only took bathroom breaks as he raised over $4,000 for his efforts. Now, running on a treadmill for 24 hours would have to be worth more than $4,000 for me. But anyway, after he achieved the challenge, he lost consciousness. And and he had some chafing too from all that running. Anyway, he said, I couldn't put any weight on my legs and I could hardly move them. When he rested for 4 days.
I believe it.
Yeah. However, not everyone was impressed. I've experienced all the same symptoms after being in a pub for 24 hours. So there you go. Anyway, the determined athlete was raising money for My Name 5. It's a foundation, a charity supporting those living with motor neuron disease. So he did raise $4,000. But yeah, he paid for it for a few days. And at age 23, no less.
Yeah, and I remember Lake Region used to do the health challenge, and I used to see people out jogging and getting all their points in, and I remember going, man, those are overachievers. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll get my little bit here and there, but
My favorite story about being out running and seeing those people overachievers or people who are just trying to do, get in shape a little bit. My favorite story is one of John's buddies. They were going to go, I think they were going to Alaska hunting. They were going moose hunting.
oh yeah, you got to
And
make sure you got a little cardio there.
yeah, and so you have to really kind of work out, and they
Yep.
would wear like backpacks with, loaded with weights and
Good
all that kind
idea.
of stuff.
Good idea.
Anyway, so they had to get out there, and John was pretty good at that time about, going to the gym and running and working out and whatever. So I think he thought he was going to be okay, but it's hard work.
Oh yeah,
And then you have to be ready to,
schlep the moose
drag
bag.
to schlep the moose out of there, right? So anyway, so in preparation for this, one of his buddies that went along on the trip, who probably no one has ever seen do any kind of exercise at all,
Oh,
was out walking. And he got so mad because he was trying to get out and get some exercise and get ready for this trip. So he's out walking trying to do that. And on his first walk, 4 people stopped and asked if he had car trouble and could they pick him up. So I thought that was so funny. And we laugh about it all the time. And he was like, God, I can't believe that everybody thought I was, having car trouble or something, that I couldn't just be out walking for exercise. But everyone knew he never did.
yeah,
And
that's
so,
funny.
yeah, it was funny. But after like the 3rd or 4th person stopped, he's like, give me a ride home. I'm done with this deal.
I had to laugh when I started training. I used to be in shape. I used to exercise every
Yeah,
day,
didn't
but
we all?
and then I grew up a little bit and then grew out as well, and so I went out and started
It
training.
happens.
And I remember joking that as soon as I started running, it almost felt like my phone was like, "Dude, do you need an ambulance? Do you
Yeah.
need the police? Do you need an adult? What's going on here? What's going on
How
here?
can we help you? Yeah. Oh, boy, goodness.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is there somebody with an
Isn't,
axe or chainsaw
isn't
behind
that
you?"
funny? I know it. Oh, boy. Okay. Here is a guy. This happened in Canada. This man has been accused of watching a movie on an iPad while driving.
That's illegal.
It is illegal. I know some people who do it, though. In a social media post, the Ontario Provincial Police say the 38-year-old suspect was driving 130 kilometers per hour. So I don't know what that is.
That's
88 miles per hour.
Yep. That's speeding.
That's speeding. With the tablet on the dashboard of the car.
So you're speeding and you can't see.
Yeah. Don't ever be this driver, the policeman said. thank you to the Good Samaritan that contacted the police. The suspect was arrested, but the charges have not yet been announced. But he's gonna be in some trouble.
Yeah, every time I'm in the cities, I always get a kick. I'm not really allowed to drive in the cities. I've failed many times. So Jen or whoever I'm with is the driver.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises
I
me.
I don't have patience when I'm driving. I'm
Oh
I'm a
my
very patient
goodness.
and loving individual, except apparently
Behind the wheel, you are not?
I am what is
Oh,
referred to as an angry driver.
yeah. I'll put you in the car with my husband, and
And
the two of you can drive wherever we go together because
and I,
he's
I
like that.
I'm not exactly. I'm more of a landmark driver. I don't like reading signs. So
Oh, that's a little harder when you get into Twin Cities
yeah.
traffic.
So I just kind of Jen's good. I mean, she's driven us through L.A., Miami. She's good driver. And when it comes to if somebody tells her what she needs to do every step of the way. So I'm good at navigating. She's good at listening to instructions most of the time and getting us there most of the time. But when we're down the cities or in any of these big cities, I love, because I'm not driving, I love seeing what everybody else is doing, what all the drivers are. The amount of drivers I've seen in newspapers, their phones, up against the steering wheel, trying to drive and looking up and down.
I know. It's really frightening.
Yeah.
When you see who's doing what on the road. But yeah, it kind of goes like that at our house too. I usually end up if we, go on vacation or get into a bigger city, I usually end up doing the driving, and it's not like John can't, but he's no better at navigating than he is driving.
Oh, see, I'm good at
I
navigating.
need somebody that's gonna look at, if you bring it up on your phone,
Yep.
I want them to say, okay, get in the left lane.
Yep.
In this many feet, you're gonna have to turn left. And because I want to know what my next
Yep.
move is.
I do that. I give it a countdown. Okay, in 2 miles, we need to take a turn, right
See, that's
turn.
what I need.
We need this. This is coming up. You better start making your move.
I went to Arizona once with my grandson Zeke, and this is when he was looking at the college that he is going to graduate from.
Nice,
At
congratulations.
the end of April. Anyway, so he and I were driving, and we landed in Mesa, I think, and we were navigating through Phoenix to go look at the college, and it's pretty serious traffic in Phoenix.
Yep.
And anyway, he was the best. I'd like to take him along wherever I go because he was like the best navigator. If you could keep him on task, like, he didn't like squirrel.
Yep.
If you could keep him watching his phone, he was great. And also in Phoenix, and I've seen these a lot of other places since, but in your lane, you can see it painted on the
Yep.
lane that says, Highway 85 South, this lane, and
Yep.
it tells you. And that was so helpful. But he was one of the best navigators I've ever had along. And I've got a sister-in-law who's a great navigator too. So I always put her in the front seat with me when we get to
Yeah.
places, where we're unfamiliar, and she navigates us there with no trouble at all.
Yeah, I'm definitely the navigator, and
Because
Jen
it is
can
a
handle the
little
drivers.
hard to watch your navigation
Yep.
and do the driving at the
Well,
same
yeah,
time.
if you've got somebody there, they've got to be the navigator.
Yeah.
But Jen lost her
Yeah.
navigator things when we were dating. So
Okay. Okay. She wasn't so good at that.
no,
Okay. Well, hey, you got to have
we,
somebody good at the driving too. So.
I needed one right turn. We couldn't manage that, and it took us 5 hours to get to
Oh dear.
5 hours to get to the Renaissance
I
Festival,
do remember
and
that
I knew the
story.
way.
I do remember that
I just got to
story.
take a right on 169. I'm good. No, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here,
Oh,
turn
I
here,
know.
turn here.
Oh boy. Okay. Sometimes do you do this with any regularity? You turn on your navigation and then you think, I don't think I like that. I think I'm going to go this way instead. I do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes it works. I would say most of the time
one thing
I kind of know
I
where
do
I
like,
am.
since usually if we go anywhere, it's just Jen and I, or we're both
Right.
together. And so I can kind of look and, okay, I'll kind of skip through the navigation before I pick which route I want to
Well,
use.
and when you're on a tar road and all of a sudden they turn you off on gravel, I'm like, I'm not so sure about this.
I'm not as worried about the gravel as I am all the boarded up houses
Yeah.
and the
Just depends on
random
where you are.
dogs.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, did you get taken in yesterday on April Fool's Day? I did not. Nobody even tried, which
It
is
wasn't as much
unbelievable.
taken in as I was. There's a video game I like that both Miles Riker and I play, and they released a bunch of new content yesterday because the new season started. And so I was perusing online, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a new exotic quest. Let's see how to get the new exotic rifle. And so they went through all these steps. It was a very well produced video, and it's like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, April Fools. I'm like, oh, okay, because it was such a believable thing because
Oh, right.
they're like, oh, okay, we're re-releasing a gun from the first game, and it's going to be released here. Well, they've done that like 4 or 5 times already, so it's one of those things that if the new content wasn't dropping, and it was like a Monday or a Friday or something, but it was a Tuesday, and that's when the new content dropped, and it was a new season and all this
Okay,
new
so
stuff.
it
So
made sense.
it all made sense, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, by the way, April Fools." I was like, "Oh, okay, well."
Not funny. Well, that's what I'm here to talk about.
Then I remembered every year they do it on April Fools.
Popular brands that did some April Fool's pranks. Popular brands posted pranks to their social media platforms to mixed reviews from their devoted fans. On April 1st, Cadbury debuted Cadbury Cream Egg on the Goo, which looks like condiment packets filled with the cream inside the
Oh, that'd be
Cadbury
tasty.
egg.
I love the
Well,
goo.
some were horrified. One user said it would make great ice cream topping, and he was excited. Heinz debuted Dubai Beans, a baked bean spin on the Dubai chocolate. Didn't we just talk about that
Yes.
yesterday? Anyway, however, Krispy Kreme's announcement to discontinue their original glazed donuts fooled no one. You can't and won't fool me with this one, a commenter said on their social media site. So nobody bought into that one. So anyway,
I'm trying
I
to find.
did not get caught yesterday.
I'm trying to bring up the one that I really, really, really liked yesterday.
Doesn't Google usually do something goofy? Or they change around their
Here we go.
when you open up Google.
Here's the one, and I had to check, or the tagline on it was the prophecy was fulfilled, and I had to wake up Jen because I found it like just after she fell asleep, so I had to make sure she saw this
And
on
you
April
actually-
Fool's Day.
And you actually woke her up.
I woke her up,
Yeah, I
and
can't see it.
well, I'm showing it to the
Oh, yeah.
the audience, and it is
Trying to
Aaron
see.
Rodgers and the Viking logo, and it says
Oh.
Viking signing Rodgers.
And that was April Fool's?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had to get that. She goes, haha, it's still the first.
And you woke her up for that?
Well, she had just gone to sleep.
Oh boy, if somebody woke me up to tell me that somebody signed with the Vikings.
She might not have been like sleep, but she was like rolled over, had her CPAP on, had her headphones on, and I'm just like, hey, check this out.
Oh my goodness. I remember what was it? I think it was a football game, and the Patriots came back to win, and John has always loved the Patriots. This was quite a few years ago, and I can't
Was
even
it the Super Bowl where they defeated Atlanta, where
Yes.
Atlanta up 24-3?
Yes. Well,
Because that's one of the more famous Patriot
It
comebacks.
feels like it was. I mean, I remember at halftime, he gave up and started watching Shrek.
A lot of people did.
Okay, maybe it was that one. Anyway, I saw them coming back, but I didn't remember them winning by so much. I thought it was tight at the end. Anyway, I didn't dare wake him up until I knew for absolutely
Yeah.
sure the game had been won. And he had long gone to bed. And I went and woke him up and I said, "You're never going to believe it. Your team won." And he's like, "That is not even nice. I can't even believe you woke me up to."
Yeah,
and
if
I'm
it's
like,
that late and he's that angry, it was probably that Super Bowl because it was 24-3 Atlanta late in the third quarter. I mean, it was
Okay.
like way late. I mean, for them to come back and win
Okay,
was
but then
a miracle.
I think it was pretty tight at the end, and I
Yeah.
didn't dare. I just wanted to make sure they won. I was not. Anyway, he was like practically throwing things at me, and I said, "I am not kidding you. If you get out of this bed right now and go downstairs to the TV, you'll be able to watch the celebration." And sure enough,
Yeah, if there's a celebration, it was that Super
yeah.
Bowl.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just remember doing that, and then it was worth waking him up. But I just remember him being a pretty grouchy bear because he was mad about the game too.
Yeah.
Of course, he was watching Shrek instead of the game. Okay, so here's some funny things that kids say. These are tips that kids are giving. Here's one from Randy. He's 9 years old. Stay away from prunes.
Prunes are your friend.
Here's one. Never pee on an electric fence. Comes from a 13-year-old.
Words of
probably
wisdom.
Tried it. Don't squat with your spurs on. That's good to know. Don't pull Dad's finger when he tells you to. That came from Emily. She was 10 years old. When your mom is mad at your dad, don't let her brush your hair. I
Ooh,
think
that's
that
a good
one's
one right
funny.
there.
Yeah, that girl was 11 years old. Here from Tracy at age 14, never allow your 3-year-old brother in the same room as your school assignment. That's a good tip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't sneeze in front of mom when you're eating crackers. Yeah, she wouldn't like that. Makes a mess. Puppies still have bad breath even after eating Tic Tacs.
Yep.
That's Andrew. He was 9 years old. Here's another 9-year-old. Never hold a dust buster and a cat at the same time. I thought that was good advice.
Yeah.
They wouldn't like that. You cannot hide a piece of broccoli in a glass of milk. Mom's going to find out. Age 9. Let's see. Do not wear polka dot underwear under white shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fashion. That's always a
That'd
good
be a fashion faux pas.
deal. Yeah. And if you want a kitten, start out by asking for a horse. You know, you
I
got
guess
some.
you'd be
You
able
got
to
some.
make
You
your
got
way
some.
down.
Yeah, you got some room to negotiate there. So anyway, there, leave you with the
This
couple
spoke
of
by somebody who
smiles.
had a horse.
Probably.
Well, you had a horse.
I did have a horse, and I always say every little girl needs a horse, and I know that's unrealistic, but man, I tell one of my good friends that I grew up with, and we rode horse together always. I say my fondest memories of my childhood are the days we were with our horses. I got her when I was in 6th grade, and I had her till my first year in college. So yeah, for a long time, and
Nice.
it was really fun. I didn't have to. Yeah, I don't. I suppose I asked for one along the way somewhere, but anyway, it was a very cool experience. Coming up on 10 o'clock, that is going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Have a great Wednesday.